Hi friends, thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be flipping through all of my 2024 bullet journal spreads, all the journaling that I did, as well as the kind of personal story and growth that I went through this year that I think is kind of reflected in my spreads. So this year I used two journals. They are from this Yup and Tom brand. I'm a big fan of them. They have this sort of like soft matte cover. As you can see, they've seen a lot of love this year. So I started with the green journal. My 2024 setup was this really funky kind of abstract pastel theme, and I think it was so much fun, and I love this font that I did. I did all the letters by hand, and it's just this really cute kind of typewriter-y font. And yeah, I have like little doodles that I repeated throughout this theme. I have this grid spacer here, and I literally never used it a single time. I set it up because I felt like pressure to kind of do what was expected, and I wanted to have like the perfect bullet journal, but I genuinely never looked at this spread after I set it up. So I don't think I'll be setting up another grid spacer in next year's bullet journal. As you can see, I kind of lost the plot a little bit with bullet journaling late in the second half of the year. A part of the problem is because I switched to the other journal, so January, February, March, April, May, June, and I kind of just gave up after that, which is too bad. I really like this spread, and I think it would be so cool to see all the pictures here, but I think I'll try to fill this in over the holidays. By the time I'm filming this, it's still earlier in December. I just haven't really had much time, but I would like to fill this in. I think this is a really cool spread. This was my future log, super fun. Part of the problem with two journals is I kind of didn't really use this anymore after the first half of this year, because I was in another journal, but it was very helpful for me for the first half of the year at least. And some goal setting here, which was really fun to do at the beginning of the year, so I'm still really happy that I did this spread. I kind of like the minimalist look of like leaving this border around. I think it suits the pastel theme kind of nicely. This is going to be a highlight reel. I'm going to go print out photos and paste them in, so I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do all this kind of wrap up stuff over the holidays. I just didn't get a chance to do that before filming this, but I'm going to print out a photo that was kind of a highlight memory or core memory from each month of this year and paste it in here. And then these trackers I also didn't really use very much for finances and content. I was going to track like my subscriber count and my finances and stuff. I didn't really do that much in this journal, which is fine. I think this is something I won't repeat. I think I preferred these like reflection spreads, like goal setting, and also this reflection page. That was a lot more fun and useful for me. The trackers, not so much. So I think going forward next year, I will skip this spread and focus more on the reflection pages. This was such a fun page. I loved looking at this, and I want to do more like artwork spreads in my journal. I find that they give me more, like they bring me more joy, and I love to do them and look at them. And this brain dump page is super awesome. It's so helpful to me. It's where I just put everything that didn't fit somewhere else in the journal. So yeah, this is a great spread. Okay, and now we're into January. So for January, I did this like ski lodge theme. I was so happy with how I colored in these huts, like with the shading. I think it's so cute. And I'm in Canada, and so we all ski up here. And what I didn't really realize was that not everyone skis. Like most people don't live in a place where you're accessible or nearby to a mountain. So maybe this theme didn't really resonate with people as much as I thought it would, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, this was the coolest idea. My boyfriend had this idea, and for the mood tracker, instead of assigning a different color for each mood, we assigned a different, like the ski slope difficulty levels to different moods, and I thought that was so genius. But yeah, this spread was so cute. I love the little doodles I did. Super minimalist, but yeah, I thought it was so cute. This one was so much fun. It's like if you're sitting on the chairlift looking out and you can see your skis. So cute. But yeah, these were the January spreads. The doodles were super cute. I kind of forgot how much I liked them. I think I did a really good job on this theme. And yeah, the notes page, I always do a doodle that kind of reflects the cover page, so I kind of bring back a drawing from the cover, and I like to repeat it on the final notes page. But yeah, that's January. On to February. I think this was a top tier theme. I mean, just look how beautiful it was. It was the year of the dragon this year, and I think this was such a cool font. I usually stick with like a calligraphy font, but this one's just so cool, and I'm really glad that I combined like multiple different elements. I've got the lanterns, I've got the dragon, the fan over here. This border was also so cool. This was such like a trippy thing to draw. I could not for the life of me figure it out. I saw pictures of it and I had to like study how to draw this border, but I'm super happy with how that turned out. Some Happy New Year writing in Chinese over here, and then a fun Dutch door with this lantern. I used this gold pen. I don't know if you guys can kind of see the shine. It's kind of hard to see in the lighting, but I got a gold pen just for the spread, and I think the gold really adds a lot. And I have some gold washi tape here as well. And yeah, this is that same kind of pattern. Yeah, I was super happy with how this turned out. And I think adding the different elements like the fan here just mixed it up a little bit. Yeah, I forgot about this spread. I think this looks so good with the like light color in the back and the red boxes. Yeah, this was a chef's kiss setup for sure. And this page, I remember this page, how much I loved this Dutch door. I feel like I struggle with Dutch doors sometimes. They don't quite like meet the expectations I have in my head. But I think this one is so awesome with the dragon panel here. And the red paper, it's so clean. So yeah, I'm super happy with this February theme. On to March. February was a lot, so I wanted to do something a bit more minimalist and simple, and I did this houseplants theme, and I wanted to keep it very minimalist, so like just the little doodles over here on the left and these kind of plants on the windowsill. I think it turned out really cute, and I used like some more muted browns as well so that it was a bit more minimalist. Yeah, this goals page over here, it's just a small calendar. You'll see as we go on in the year, I got more into the calendar spreads as we went. So yeah, I don't know if you call this minimalist. I think compared to my February spread, it's more minimalist, but I was really happy with the greens and the browns. I think it looks really cute. So yeah, I just did a lot of different plant doodles, and I think like this kind of muted green and brown tones, they're not too loud, so I kind of liked the color palette I had. And as always, I bring back a doodle from the cover page. So this was like, oh, I thought it was on the cover page. Okay, never mind. I thought I had this plant on the cover, but I really like this plant. I wish I put it on the cover. I think that looks really good there. And it's always awkward when there's a week with like just one day at the end. But yeah, I just made like an art page out of it. I do wish I had done more of these art pages, and that's something I want to work on more this coming year, is to do more art in the bullet journal because it's so much fun looking back at it. Okay, April was not minimalist at all. I went all out, and I did this gouache painting of this butterfly. I think it looks so beautiful, and I love the color scheme that I picked, this yellow and orange. Yellows and oranges are not usually my go-to color, but I think it works perfectly for this butterfly theme. I wanted to do more gouache painting this month, and you can see I painted these and cut them out, but honestly it was just so high effort. Like, it was taking ages, and then not just painting it but cutting it out also, it just took forever. So I didn't do everything in gouache. But I added this trip planner in this month because I went on a trip in May. So in April I had this trip planner, and this was actually really helpful because I just needed a bit of extra space to plan some things out and write some things down that I wanted to get done before my trip. So yeah, you can see I have some painting here, but I was getting like a little bit fed up with all the painting. I do like this Dutch door though, and having the paint in the back. I think it looks really nice, and I did a sort of like ombre effect from the yellow to the orange. But moving on, yeah, I kind of just went back to markers because it was so much faster and easier to just draw out the butterfly and then color it in. I really like this kind of shading border that I did, and I like this kind of grid pattern. I need to do more of this, but I think it helps fill in the space and it makes it look more complete rather than just leaving the squares blank. So yeah, I think I should do more of this as well. Yeah, but I have some of the boxes filled in with that grid. It's quite helpful. This was a cool spread, I think. This like swoosh across the 2 pages. This was something I want to keep in mind for next year because I think this is very cool and quite unique. Okay, on to May. And as you can see, the style has completely changed. I mean, look at April and look at May. So as I mentioned or kind of alluded to in the beginning, I went through sort of a bullet journal crisis this year. I started out really strong, like with these amazing themes. Like I loved February, and then I was trying out some different things in March. And then April was like really intense. And then to be honest, I've been so busy this year and I kind of lost interest in bullet journaling for a little bit. So I didn't post a video for May. Yeah, so I was trying out a different style here, super minimalist. I think it took me like half an hour to set up the entire month. Looking back, I don't love this. Like, I just like the art. So this is a little bit like too bland for me, but it was super easy. But as you can see, like I didn't use it at all. Like I literally have not touched any of these pages. And then I went on a trip for most of May actually. So I wasn't even kind of in my regular life in May. The only thing I did use was the travel planner, the packing list here. That was like the only useful thing, but notes, the habits, goals, like literally everything was blank here. And that's why I didn't make a video. I was feeling kind of like tired and not interested in journaling in this month. So I'm glad I did a minimalist theme just to like not spend too much time. But yeah, I was kind of actually feeling like I wanted to just drop it and not continue anymore. So I went on this trip and I had this idea to do like a visual diary. I did this last year on a trip I went on when I was like just starting with bullet journaling, and I actually drew something every day on my trip last year. And then looking back, it was so nice to look back on. So I set this all up for me to do, but as you can see, I barely drew anything. The sketches that I did do, I think are super cool. Like this was from London, and then we went to Italy. So this is like an ancient Roman theater, and this is like a beach town on a cliff. So I think looking back at these sketches is super cool. It would have been awesome if I had done all of them, but yeah, at this point in the year, I was just feeling a bit like disinterested with bullet journaling, so I kind of like let art go a little bit this year, and I didn't work too hard on my journal this month. As you can see, it's like very simple. But yeah, at the end of May, I was back from my trip, so you can see that I was like writing down more stuff because I had more things to do and catch up on after my trip. But yeah, that's about it for May. So May was a quiet one in my bullet journal, and yeah, looking back, I would not do a minimalist spread again, but I'm glad at the time that I didn't like force myself to do too much. So then June is back to the maximalist style. So if you look at the transition from like April, May, June, I think you can kind of see like where my head was at and how I was feeling and how keen I was feeling on bullet journaling just based on the covers. But I did this design on the plane on my way back from my trip. So yeah, I didn't film June either. I didn't post a video for June. I've always loved doing art, but posting the videos has been a bit of a chore for me sometimes, but I do enjoy looking back on it. So I didn't do a video for June, so this is the first time you guys are seeing my June setup. And I went for this like super bright, crazy theme, which is definitely out of my normal style. But yeah, I think it's actually really cute and really fun and super clean, and I like the yellow a lot. And as you can see, I was using it more, not as much as I was in the beginning of the year, but I did actually at least use my planner more. And you can also see that I skipped any of those spreads that I just don't use. Like I didn't do a calendar, I didn't do any trackers here. I literally just made space for some goals and then the weekly spreads that I could write down, like my schedule stuff. But yeah, I also kind of gave up on the flowers a little bit. I just did 2 weeks worth of flowers, and then I just kept it really simple and just made the space for myself to plan. So yeah, that was June. Oh, and then I did a cool notes page. So I do feel like I wrapped it up well, and I really like this font. Like I think this is a really cool font that I did, and I think the black works better here to contrast with the colors. Okay, moving on to July, and now July is when I kind of got back into bullet journaling actually. So I also didn't post a video for July, but I feel like these doodles are more along the lines of my usual style, and I feel happier looking at these doodles. I think this is a really pretty theme. So yeah, I was feeling more kind of like I wanted to get back into bullet journaling this month, and I think that setting up this July seashells theme was a good way to like get me interested again. I think sticking with a very simple color palette makes it look so cohesive, and sometimes I am definitely guilty of using too many colors and trying to do too much. When you stick with one color palette, it does look so much more cohesive. So this is that like swoosh thing again that I did back in April. here, and so I repeated it here with the seashells. And I just kept this theme super simple. I just did seashell doodles on every page. The color palette is very, very simple and clean, but I think this setup works really well, and it got me back into the mindset of wanting to do bullet journaling because it's so clean and pretty, and yeah, I was so happy with this one. This was, I think, one of my favorite themes that I did in the first half of this year. And that's it for this first journal. After this, you can see I did some brainstorming for August themes, and then there's just a couple blank pages left and just some pen tests and yeah, some random, oh, this page is not even attached, some random testing for March, some other doodling and testing out different markers. But yeah, that is it for the first half, or more than half, but the first half of this year. So then I switched from this journal into my second journal, which is the same brand that I used for the first half of the year. It's that same Yop and Tom brand, I just went for a different color. Before we get into this, I do want to show you guys one other really cool thing I worked on this year. So this year I created my very own planner, and I created a 2025 planner that is based on a lot of the themes that you just saw in this flip through. So I have like the plants from March, I have that butterfly from April. They're all inspired by themes I've done in the past few years. This planner was like a big dream of mine to make over the past couple years, and I finally achieved it this year. It has a super fun inscription. It's this really nice hardcover. I made a whole flip through video for this planner, which I'll link in the description, but yeah, this planner sold out so fast. It was way more popular than I expected. So it is sold out, unfortunately, but there is a digital version still available on my Etsy shop, which I'll link in the description below if you guys are interested. But yeah, all the themes are inspired by my bullet journal, and I could not believe the love and support that everyone showed. So thank you so much. This journal was such a big, exciting part of this year. Okay, so let's get to the second part of this flip through. So in this journal, I didn't do a full like mid-year setup, but I did want to tie it into my yearly setup. So I used the same kind of abstract pastel theme for this part 2, and I just did like a sort of brain dump mid-year check-in page. For August, I did this ice cream theme. You can see that I pasted over here because I originally did a flamingo theme that, I don't know, I just hated it. To be honest, I don't love the ice creams either. They were okay, and August I also didn't post a video for. I was still feeling a bit in a rut of bullet journaling, but at least I got through this month and I did do a whole setup. So I did this mood tracker, which I thought was so cute, but I didn't really end up using it very much. But I had fun setting it up. And this is the thing I find, I often don't use the trackers, but I like setting them up and I like how it looks, but then I end up not using them. So yeah, I wonder if you guys have any tips for how I can encourage myself to use it more. I love drawing it all and setting it up, and I love to look at it. But then I do feel regretful when I do this video at the end of the year and I realize that I've barely touched or used any of it at all. Had a notes page, and then I just got right into the weekly spreads. August was like a medium busy month, I guess. I didn't have a ton going on. And yeah, to me this setup was just like a 4 out of 10 maybe. It was okay. It is cute, but I don't know what it is. It didn't spark joy for me. Okay, but on to September. This did spark joy. And in September, I finally posted a Plan With Me video for this theme on YouTube. And this is the theme that got me like back into being keen about making the videos again. So yeah, you can kind of see how I went from like really keen at the beginning of the year, and then I fell into like that rut over the summer. But in September, I loved this setup so much. I filmed everything and I did make a video that was really popular with you guys. I'm so happy with how this theme turned out. I used a brown fine liner instead of black for the first time ever, and it makes it feel so warm and cozy, and I love the like browns and kind of muted olive greens that I used. Yeah, just such a fun and cozy like reading nook vibe. Once again, did such a cool mood tracker spread. I love this spread. I think it's so cute, and this is such a fun idea with the books, but once again, didn't even touch it. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have some tips or tricks for like how to actually use the trackers that you set up, because I love this and I loved making it and I love looking at it now, but I clearly did not even use this a single day in September. And then for the weekly spreads, I did this cool Dutch door idea. So I just colored in the border around here, and then I cut out this kind of curved edge, and every week is just on a different page. I really love this plaid idea that I did. I did it a couple times, like I did a rug here, and I did it on the cover page as well. This plaid is just so cozy, and yeah, I think it works really well with this theme. And then I have a notes page here. I don't know, some old notes I guess I stuck in there. And that was it for September, but this was one of my favorite themes this year, I think. Right up there with February and July, I think. Just so cozy, and I think the brown fine liner is really underrated, so highly recommend you guys to use that trick if you're looking for like a warm and cozy vibe in your doodles. On to October, I did this kind of like spooky haunted house lime green theme. I went to the dollar store and I bought a piece of black poster board and a piece of lime green poster board. They're like $1 each. That is definitely the hack. If you guys have a theme you want to do that needs just 1 or 2 colors, you can easily get it from the dollar store. And I really like this drippy effect, so I cut out these kind of dripping slime, traced it onto the other color, and then cut that out to make a shadow behind it. And I love the font that I used. I think this is so cool and just works really well with the theme. I did this kind of block letter with the shadows to make it 3D. And then I drew some dripping slime and I did different colors, but I love this font. I think it's so perfect for this theme. I did a calendar here, which, yeah, as you can see, I'm getting more into. And then for the weekly spreads, I think these ghosts are so cute, and I wanted to do a theme that was like spooky but still cute and doodly. I don't like things that are too scary, so the trees, I guess, are a bit more realistic looking, but then I've got like the spider web and the ghosts are very doodly and cute. So I think this was a really good balance for me. Oh my god, this page is so green. Actually, like, I made it. I pasted down the green paper and my eyes were hurting as I was making it. So you can see how wonky these boxes are. It's because I was trying to draw them as fast as I could to like get this page done with and get out of here. My eyes were hurting as I was setting this up. And as I'm looking at it now, they hurt again. So let's move on. Yeah, this is much better. I just kept the green shadows and I added some trees here. Okay, this is such a cool page, and this used to be one of my OG spreads. Like, I would always write the big numbers in the middle and do these lines, and I barely used it this year. I think I need to bring this back in 2025. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this kind of more unique layout of spreads versus like a more traditional with the boxes for the days. But yeah, I think I need to bring this back. This one was cool. Loved this last page. I think this black with the white pen looks so sharp and clean, and I did the dripping slime thing, but I reversed the colors. Over here I had this kind of like black on green. Here I did green on black. Yeah, super happy with this last page. On to November now. November was a step in the other direction. October was, of course, quite maximalist. Here I've gone very minimalist. And November was sponsored by the washi tape shop. So they sent me a ton of really beautiful washi tapes. And I selected this mountains, kind of wintry mountain vibe that they sent me. And I decided to do Polaroids. So it's very minimalist, but I drew out the Polaroid frames myself and then stuck the washi tape stickers inside the Polaroids. And I had this idea to do them like hanging on a clothespin. I think that was really fun. So yeah, just picking them out. It was so difficult to pick out the perfect washi tapes for each one. Like, these washi tapes were unreal. They were just like super high quality stickers, and they come on a clear background, so you can't even see the fact that they're stuck down very well. Yeah, so in November, I did a big calendar. I was really enjoying using this calendar, and I actually used it a lot, which is a big difference from like when you look at some of the other like trackers and stuff that I have made, like where I barely touched it all month. So I actually am getting a lot of use out of these calendars. So this 2-page calendar is definitely something I'm going to be continuing. More Polaroids, and then I just did that Polaroid theme for the weekly setup. Here's that grid background thing I was talking about again, and I think this is really good trick to make it look a bit more complete. So I want to do a bit more of these kind of grid backgrounds as well. Did a little Dutch door here. I cut this out and I just colored the background. Have a little Dutch door there. And this is so fun, I think, with the clothespins hanging the Polaroids down. And that was it for November. And onto the last month of this year. December was really gorgeous. In my mind, I wanted this to look like a sort of Christmas card with the Christmassy village. It's still doodly because it's kind of two-dimensional, but it's still kind of three-dimensional with some of the houses. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I wanted to give a sort of like glowing effect to the windows, so I used a yellow marker in all the windows. Here's that 2-page calendar again. The ombre effect I had in my head didn't work out like as well as I had hoped, but I do like the fact that I used a dark pen in the background, and the 2-page calendar is very helpful once again. I did a shopping list here for people that I'm shopping for. It's quite useful to have the name, the gift idea, and the price that I was planning to spend. And then into the weekly spreads. This one was a fun one. I just had so many things going on this month, so it was very helpful to have the space, and I am using this more. And then I haven't quite finished my December setup, but my plan here, and I wish I had thought of this on this spread, but my plan here is I've cut out these kind of Dutch doors here for each of the weekly spreads, and I'm going to draw more of these houses along the bottom. So I wish I'd thought of it here, but it was too late because I can't cut this out because then I'll lose this. But I wish I'd thought of it there, and then I could have just drawn these houses along the bottom. Yeah, these houses were quite a lot of effort to draw all these doodles, so that's why this was a good idea, I think, because I can just draw once and be done with it. But yeah, this will be my December setup. I've got all the weeks set up here, and then I'll have this notes page in the back. And that is all for my 2024 flip through. I went through 2 journals this year, as well as creating my own 2025 planner. That was definitely the most exciting part of my bullet journaling journey this year. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and looking at all the flip throughs and all the themes I did this year, as well as listening to how this kind of represented a bit of my journey with bullet journaling this year. And it was full of ups and downs, but in the end, I am really happy with how all the themes turned out. And I hope this gave you some inspiration for your bullet journaling for next year. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you guys in the new year. Friends!